Good morning, Chavirim. We are in Likutei Moharan Zayin Tinyana. We spoke yesterday about the Rav of Kshirin, Rav Nachman of Kshirin. I think his name was Goldstein, Rav Nachman Goldstein. He was a Talmid. He was the grandson of Rabbi Aaron of Breslev, who was the posek in the city of Breslev, who was one of Rabbeinu's closest students. He was himself a child prodigy, a genius. He wrote, if I remember well, about 50 Sfarim in Nigle, in Pshat, in Chassidut, in Gemara and Halacha. And especially what he devoted his life to was improving the Sfarim of Rabbeinu and Rabbi Natan. One of the Sfarim he wrote is the Parparot, the Chokhmah, which in this Likutei Moharan, which says over here that it has the Mefarshim, has it at the back. It's a go-to to understand Pshat and Likutei Moharan. Many times you're missing something, so the Parparot is the place to go to. Of course, Rabbi Natan also is the Mefaresh, but you got to really understand well the Torah to understand Rabbi Natan's Pirush. And the reason is because Rav Nosson did not write a Pshat on Likutei Moharan. Likutei Halachot is not a Pshat on Likutei Moharan. What is Likutei Halachot? Likutei Halachot is the magnum opus of Rabbi Natan, which Rabbeinu told him, first I want you to learn Kitvei Arizal and Zohar. Kitvei, all the secrets of the Torah, all the Kabbalah. The Kitvei is the Torah Shebal Peh of the Zohar. It's all the system of how the world was created, your interaction with the world, the soul. And he wanted to learn a lot to know the Likutei Moharan. He's the one that wrote Likutei Moharan, Rabbi Natan. He has every Torah in his pocket. He knows Rabbeinu, all the stories. He knows everything about the Rebbe, the Ruach. Now take the Shulchan Aruch, start learning through Shulchan Aruch. He's learning from the beginning every day. And by the way, Breslev Chassid has to learn every day Shulchan Aruch, and it has to be on a seder. It should be in order. One halakha today, another halakha tomorrow, from the beginning to the end. If a person is not very well versed, he can start with Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, but there has to be a seder and halakha, shiurim kesidran, for going beginning to the end. And we did it for a long time over here. We did the first two chalakim Mishnah. We had the pause on the third one. They're starting the fourth one, and we have to start again this year. Really, we should start a 10-minute, 15-minute shiur at minimum to go through halachot together every day. So now Rav Nosson is writing a piru. He's learning Shulchan Aruch, and he has to finish it every year. Rabbi Natan has to finish Shulchan Aruch every year. Now, what does Rabbeinu want him? Start writing chidushim on the Shulchan Aruch based on the Zohar, based on the Arizal, and based on the Likutei Moharan. So, if you notice, the Likutei Halachot is like it's a cycle of 7. For example, you have Ilchot Shabbat. Ilchot Shabbat. You have Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin. What is that? Why is Rabbi Natan writing Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Zayin, Hey? Because every time that he's finishing the Shulchan Aruch, he's doing another cycle. So he's getting to Ilchot Shabbat again. Wherever he is in the Likutei Moharan, he starts to explain the halakha based on that. Understand? That's why Shabbat Aleph could be on Torah Yud, and Shabbat Bet could be on Torah Lamed, because wherever he's in Likutei Moharan, when he gets to that halakha, he's explaining. So if you look into the Likutei Halachot, you can see the Torah through Rav Nosson's eyes. How did he understand the Likutei Moharan based on the way he's explaining the Shulchan Aruch? But you need a lot of experience to be able to do that, and you need a shimush to be able to pull it out. Otherwise, Likutei Halachot is great chizukim. You're going to get inspired. You're going to run to Hashem. You're going to not give up for sure, and you're going to have chidushim on the Arachan and the Parsha. They put it in now. You can get a lot of flashes. But the real Likutei Halachot is after you know well the Torah, after you live the Torah, after you have everything clear in the Torah, then you go into Likutei Halachot. You see the Torah through Rabbi Natan's eyes and all the chidushim that he brings out. Wherever he's holding in Shas, wherever he's holding in Zohar, wherever he's holding in Likutei Moharan, he's putting it in the drash. That's why the first years they're small, and the later years they get bigger, and the latest years they're very long, because Rabbi Natan already at 60, 65 years old, he's major baggage. So he's able to write and to write and to write and to write. You see the difference between the first years and the other years. So that is the Likutei Halachot. But the Parparot is going on the Torah, and it's explaining the Torah as is a pshat on the Torah. And of course, the Parparot was a Talmid of Rabbi Natan. He was close to Rabbi Natan. So what do we say? What do we want to say now in the Parparot? We wanted to say, we want to just mivar one thing. And usually maybe there would be room to say, let's just go to the end and come back on this. But I just want to point out something very small that he says so we can go forward. Because if we just review our lesson is that the Tzadik is Rahman. The Tzadik has pity. He has pity for others. He's praying for others. He's teaching others. When you teach people, you're creating students. You're creating students and you're living through your students. You're living through your Talmidim. You need to, when you're dealing with students, you got to be able to teach each student what he needs. You got to teach one student or one person that he's very close to Hashem, and the other person is very far from Hashem. And they're both true, because we're all very close and we're all very far. We are all extremely close to God. God is right there listening to you. You're talking to him straight, and there's no intermediate. And one of the Rebbe's, he said, showed to his kids, I want to show you how it works. Let's call Trump. So he took his cell phone out, he called the White House, he said, can we speak with the president? So obviously they get 100 million calls like this a day. And so they said, I'm sorry, you cannot speak to the president. We'll take a message, send a letter. And he said, you see, we can't speak to the president, even though we're tax-paying citizens. Let's speak to God. So I'll speak to God. You can speak to Hashem. You're very close, and you're very far. What do you know already? Do you know something? You've reached the top levels that you could reach. We're all very close, and we're all very far. The tzaddik needs to sometimes tell you you're close. Sometimes he needs to tell you you're far. He needs to tell to big people you're far. He needs to tell to far people you're close. And we'll see that sometimes he needs to do to each person, he needs to alternate. Sometimes like this, sometimes like that. Then we spoke about the concept of Makifim. When you teach, you get. When you teach something, you get new information. So if you're teaching Gemara, you're going to get a question in the Gemara. If you're teaching the question in the Gemara, you're going to get an answer. And then we said that you got to be careful. You got to be careful, because if you keep teaching, remember this we said 2 classes ago? If you keep giving over what you know, you're going to get a download, a makif that is too complicated. You're going to meet balbel. Just to repeat that one more time. When I'm teaching the Gemara, and I understand the Gemara, when I'm teaching it to you, I get a question in the Gemara. And that question, I didn't know it before I taught it to you. That is a makif. I teach to you what I know, and I'm getting what I don't know, the makif. Now what I didn't know, now it becomes pnimi. When I teach that makif, which is the pnimi, I get a new makif. I get the answer to the question. If I tell you my answer, I'm going to get a new question, and then I confused everybody. Careful. That concept, bring it to the Tzadik Emes. The Tzadik Emes has reached the summit of knowledge in this world. His makif is, we said, it's the makif of the next world, which is ma. Ma chamita ma pishpashta, ma rav tufcha shel tzafanti lirecha. It's the next world, ma rav tufcha and ma chamita. You don't know nothing. So he's now, his makif is there. Since his makif is the makif of the next world, so he has that feeling toward Rabbi Hashem that Tzadik feels he doesn't and it hasn't done anything. And Rabbeinu himself would pray to Hashem, how can I be a Yid? How can I be a kosher Jew? You're not a kosher Jew, who's a kosher Jew? Because he understands his makif is the next world. Okay? So Rabbeinu said in Ot Zayin, in Ot Hey at the end, Lemana min hakol is the makif of the Chacham Dor, Shoah Rebbe Dor, that it is the makif of Olam Haba. So the Tzadik gets that makif. And then we say, Rabbeinu is saying in Ot Chet, but the Chacham has to be careful not to be makif, bring a makif that is too high for him. So which one is it? Is the makif, that's our question, is the makif of the next world the Chacham's makif? Or is it a makif that he shouldn't bring down, not to confuse himself and to confuse others? You see the question? So I'm going to read to you, we don't have, not all of them have the Parparot. If you want to buy a Likutei Moharan, buy this one, because this one has im mefarshim. So you have at the end the Parparot and you have the other Talmidim. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool, wonderful. And especially when you're learning slow the Torahs. When you're learning slow, you're going to realize this problem. So I'll read to you a little bit what he says the Parparot, okay? Afar pi, everybody's listening? Shamakifin shelo em b'chinat olam haba. There's probably another one in the shul. You found it? So it's on page Kuf Lamed Gimel, whoever has it. Afar pi, so I'm going. You know what? We're going to read the whole thing. It's a small little paragraph. We're going to read the whole thing. Ad ken. So now we're recording the Likutei Moharan, and he's going to interject. I'll tell you when it's Likutei Moharan, I'll tell you when it's the Parparot. It's on page Kuf Lamed Gimel. Ad ken, im lo yenizar bidvarav. If the Tzadik's not careful to bring down something too big, על ידי זה ינכנס בקושות ותירוצים שהזמן מספיק לבארם. He'll get questions and answers that there's not enough time in the world to explain to him. Like I told you, the mashal, if I want to teach my 3-year-old kid a Tosfot, there's not enough time in the year to teach it to him. It's going to take me 10 years. I can't go there with him. The same thing, the tzaddik can't go there with us to bring down something too big because it's going to be not enough time in the world to explain it because we're limited in time and space.
The problem is us or him?
Let's see. כי הם בחינת מקיפים שנאמרנו מזמן. רוצה לומר, now it's the Parparot. You see it, Rabbi David? רוצה לומר כי אף על פי שכבר נתבהר למעלה בעוד ו', even though we already saw in עוד ו', שהמקיפים של החכם והרבי שבדור הם בחינת עולם הבא, שיום שכולו ארוך, even though, what are you telling me now in עוד ח'? That you can't bring them down, because it's too dangerous. One second, you told me in ו' that his makif is the one of the עולם הבא. כי שם הוא למעלה מהזמן. There it's above time and space. רוצה לומר שהוא למעלה מכל בחינות הזמן של עולם הזה. Now it's the Parparot. It's above time and space of this world. אף על פי כן, גם שם יש בחינת סדר הזמנים ברוחניות. There are still times there. There are still levels there. Do you think that there's only this world and the next world? The next world is infinite levels of makifim. Infinite levels. There's no limit to the levels there. So yes, the tzaddik is out of our league, that he's tapping into the next world and I'm only in this world. He's tapping in there, but even there, don't go too high over there, because then it's going to be too complicated. We'll see why. Because even there we said, how do we determine time in the next world? Time is determined in the next world by how much you advance in knowledge. So there's no time. Here, you have a birthday, you have another year, you have another year. We got to Pesach, we got to Shavuot, we got to Rosh Hashanah. We keep moving in the an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, a 10-year cycle. I was looking at a book somebody bought me last night. I was looking at a sefer of Yaakov Shechter. He's one of the big Tinyana in Jerusalem. If you're ever in Jerusalem, you have to see him. If you didn't see Reb Chaim Kanievsky, you didn't see Reb Avadia, you have to see Yaakov Shechter. Just go see him. Go see him. Look at him. That's all. And I have a sefer that somebody bought me almost 10 years ago when I started in the shul over here. Ein Zayin. Ein Zayin, Rabbi Tzin was giving. Just when I first started over here, he bought me a sefer. I'm like, wow, 10 years passed like nothing. Like nothing. There, how does 10 years pass? 10 years passes, hasaga. You got a new knowledge of Hashem. It's like you got a daily knowledge, a weekly knowledge, a monthly knowledge, a yearly knowledge, a millennium. Maybe it's 1,000-year knowledge. There's levels there as well. You're going up, Chacham. You're going up, Tzadikemis. You're getting musagim. You're getting them. The Parparot is saying, that's his answer, that there's even levels for the tzaddik of what he's attaining in this world, not to go too far in the asagot of the next world. We're still in olam hazeh. We're still here. You got to still bring it down. And he's going to explain a little bit more soon. First answer, there's levels for the chacham as well. When he's going up, you got to know where to stop there as well, even for the chacham. The gam. Ki af al pi shamakefin shalom bichinat olam haba, even though they're the next world, shu bichinat nemana miazman, haynu shmasig otam b'shosham biruchaniyut, be'ara gdola chava kol kach, like we said many times. He's getting it there in the shorish. He's getting the light at the source. He's getting it very wide. He's getting the concept in a flash. It's like a Ruach HaKodesh. He's getting it, he's getting the iceberg. He's getting the whole iceberg. כל כך עד שם בחינת נאמנה מזמן, אבל אף על פי כן, עדיין הוא בעצמו So the tzaddik is getting the asaga there, but he is a person in this world. Rabbi Natan once said, until I met Rabbeinu, I didn't understand how Moshe Rabbeinu was a person. I couldn't understand. When you read the Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu is, what's so amazing, right? He's 40 days in heaven learning Torah from Hashem. There's no day, no night. You know that, right? Moshe Rabbeinu only knows it's day in this world because he's learning Torah shebichtav. He only knows it's night in this world when he's learning Torah shebe'apeh. But there's no day and night. There's no eating. There's no food. There's no zman. And the 40 days of Moshe Rabbeinu in Shamayim, if we said, Kiyom Itmon, Erev Shanim Benecha Kiyom Itmon, 1,000 days for us is one day of Hashem. You know that? I told you the story of the Barat Tosfot that came back, and it was one day later. But it was really 1,000 years in this world. So if Moshe Rabbeinu is 40 days in the next world, how many years is that here? What could you do in 1,000 years times 40? Moshe Rabbeinu did in those 40 days. So Rav Nosson said, I don't understand that Moshe Rabbeinu is a person. How can he be a person? And then when I saw him, I say, as godly as he is, when I met Rabbeinu, as godly as he was, as how he can make a Torah out of every little piece of news that he learns, and Siprim Masyot, and Muftim, and Avodat Hashem. He was a person also, Bipashtus. He was Ratzo V'Shov. Rabbeinu says in Torah Dalit that the light goes and he comes back. So at the end of the day, you're still here. Rabbeinu is still here.
It's just the body.
Yes.
Just the body.
The body brings you down.
It brings you to this world.
Yeah.
That's why Rabbeinu had to get rid of it at the end.
Yeah, and he would still sleep, and he would still eat something, and he still wore clothes, and he still knew about this world. So he was there and here. So at the end of the day, the tzaddik is there, but he's still here as well. So therefore, ki alohu mirubash begufaniut. You're saying exactly right, Rabbi David. He's in a body, keshar ben adam. Uminanu gadol mi Moshe Rabbeinu. I forgot that he says this. Can we have more than Moshe Rabbeinu? I don't want to go over the time. עליו השלום, והיו ימיו 120 שנה. על כן, בהכרח לצמצם כל כך את אור השגתו הגדולה והרחבה מאוד שתוכל להתלבש בתוך הזמן. You're there. How do you bring it? You gotta now take all this light and package it into the small little dibur and bring it here into this world. That's what I told you many times. One simple sentence of Rabbeinu. One little imra. I told you, Rabbeinu said, the Torah of the other tzaddikim is not as great as the simple mundane conversations of the tzaddik emes. Every dibur that he said is 100% pure olive oil. There's no sediments inside. There's no mixtures inside. Zero. So every dibur that he has is coming from real lofty places, and until Rabbeinu is able to put them in words, but that's a big job for him. So he has to not go high enough. He can't go high to a place where he can't put in words afterward. He has to know that I'm going to mitzamtzem it, but I need to be able to take something that is still possible to bring in this world. There's certain concepts that are not worldly concepts, that there's no way to get them. If you go there, look what he says. Me'od ad shuchan ועל כן, אם לא יעשה סייג לדבריו, אז יוכל להיכנס בהשגות מקיפים כאלו שהם למעלה מהזמן, היינו, meaning, שלא יוכל להלביש ולצמצם אותם, כל כך עד שידבשו בחינת תוך הזמן. Rabbeinu is going to go to a place that I can't bring it to the world.
That his biggest challenge was to take something where there was no zman
and put it
and
in
bring
zman.
it into the zman, and that's huge.
And that's why you understand that as no matter where you are, the guy's in the mud. Any rabbi, anybody's going to come and talk to him and tell him something. It's not going to work. Rabbi Nachman's sticker of En Yush V'Olam, of whatever dibur. We did a campaign, and I wrote what Rabbeinu says in Torah, Ayin Aleph Ayin Bet, Yesh Niimut B'Torah, Va'ikar Largish Niimut Sheyesh B'Torah. There is a sweetness in the Torah, and the main thing is to feel the sweetness in the Torah. A big time, people come and said, "What is that statement?" They were telling me, "What is that?" What do you mean? You don't know the Torah is sweet? Everybody knows it's sweet. Anybody ben Torah. But when Rabbeinu says it, you know where he brought it from? He brought it from a place. So therefore, when you read that, you're here in this little finite world, in this physical body, but you're tapping into a light that is the tip of an iceberg, that's nishchash nemane, and it gives you an electricity to do tshuva and to learn Torah. They'll to you.